welcome to the fourth race of Cuphead. I'm here with Lucy Claus. How are you, Lucy?
Hello everyone, I'm doing alright, Mr. Dino. We are in the week 4 of the Cuphead weekly races that we have here, and this one's going to be a really tough one, I'm going to say, because it's low percent. It's not really, it's kind of a challenging category.
Here's a real high-class bout. Now go!
This is my favorite category, guys. All those that probably don't know, so I'm really expecting a good race here. I mean, I'm not the best, like, pretty much almost everybody here is better than me, but it's still my favorite category.
Yeah, I might as well just go a little bit through what is low percent. Low percent is a category where you don't pick up any upgrades whatsoever. You just clear the whole game with the least amount of like items collected, right? In many games you don't pick up any, energy tags or whatever, like in Metroid. In Cuphead, you just play with a basic weapon and pretty much clear every single boss. That's it, except for the demo. Like you don't do the demo fight. Yeah, because that is an ending. Even though it's a bad ending, accepting the demo deal, it is an ending. It is like an alternative ending, I was going to say, to the game. So today in the race we have Jason, Luigi, Valiso, and SPD Wolf. All 4 runners are experienced runners in Cuphead. They've been running this game for quite a long time, actually. Funny enough, Luigi just got the world record about 30 minutes ago. He got the world record from SPD Wolf. So we have kind of a grudge match, I guess. I don't know. Like these 2 guys are insane in this game, and they've been going back and forth on world records in other categories. It's really interesting to see that they both turn their attention for low percent now that we have the race in the weekly races.
Just another day in Luigi's life, right?
Pretty
Another
much,
day,
yeah.
another world record.
Luigi, man, the task bot.
Okay, so I think everybody's ready.
Yeah, I believe we're gonna start in a few. The runs are making sure that everything is gonna work perfectly before the race. Prepare themselves a little bit, a little mental preparation as well. It's kind of a weird match, as I say, kind of a weird race. Low percent is definitely a category that is not a joke, as I said earlier, because using the base weapon in the game, you're not really having a lot of damage. It's not really the lowest amount of damage you can do in the game, like it's not the weakest weapon, but utilizing it fully is the most difficult part of the game. And using P-Shooter is kind of difficult in some situations. Like you can see how P-Shooter works, and some of the non-experienced runners are going to have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I think some of the runners might get a little bit of experience for low percent as well by playing all bosses in current patch, because in current patch for all bosses there are some sections that you want to use the P-Shooter, like for long distances and stuff, like the dragon, for example.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely, though, the hardest part is the fact that the fights are going to be longer. So we know Cuphead, we know that it's a difficult game, we know that the bosses are kind of difficult, even on even if you're an experienced runner, anything can happen. And the longer the fight, the more chance for you to actually get hit, and that leads to a potential death, I guess. That might be a bit unfortunate.
We're almost ready to start right now, guys. I think we're getting for... The audio is pretty loud. I can barely hear Mr. Nine. Is it really? Okay, I'm gonna lower the game audio. Sorry about that. I thought it was okay. Okay, I lowered game audio. Let me know if it's better now. Or if not, I can turn on a little bit of my mic now. But yeah, let me know if you have any issues with audio, guys. I think we're ready to start. So, good luck to every runner.
Yeah, good luck to the runners. And 100%. This is going to be a really interesting one. Like, if you guys saw the previous weeks, week 1 and 2, I guess, was the all bosses categories. This one is the definition of a boss rush, I guess, because the only thing you do is bosses, nothing else. Just bosses with a base weapon. So there's the definition of a boss rush in Cuphead, by far. Fine, the race is on the way. So in the beginning, of course, Valiso had a wrong walk there, but he's going to start. It's not really going to be a problem. So they're going to talk to the kettle, and they're going to exit straight to the map. They're not going to do the tutorial, which is the usual thing that people do in the current patch to pick up spread. They're going to skip this apple guy. We don't want anything that gives a little bit of progression to the game. We're not going to pick it up, and we're going straight to the bosses. So interesting enough, usually you see that it fires like it has a really long range, and it does like sustainable damage. Like it fires a lot of projectiles, I guess, per second, but it's not similar to spray. It's not a shotgun, I guess, that fires a lot of projectiles, and it's really close range. The spread it has a lot of range. The damage is quite base, I guess. And we're going to rely a lot on using the EXs, like the strong attack of the weapons, to deal a lot of damage.
Yep, actually, one of the very important things of this category, I guess it's similar to like the flying sections. It's like you have to do a very good management of the EX attack, because that definitely does like more damage than just the regular shoot. Well, not only that, it's also the parrying. Like, sometimes parrying can be really important to be able to feel that EX attack faster than just doing the regular attack.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people underestimate, I guess, the power of the Fisher EX. It actually deals a lot of damage, and because, as I said, the weapon that does have really base damage in general, we rely on those power hits from the EXs. So you're gonna see the runs they're gonna parry pretty much everything they see, as long as they don't really disrupt them from doing like sustainable damage to the boss. So as you see Wolf here on the Rivian Croaks fight, he didn't really parry all the punches, but he did parry those that were really close to him, I guess, that it wasn't really out of his way. Yeah, today we have Jason, Luigi, Valiso, SPD Wolf, and Island Wolf, who is racing as well. But we don't have Island Wolf, as we can showcase 4 runners today.
Yes, Island Wolf is also racing, but he is not on the stream. But yeah, he's also racing right now.
So the interesting thing about the Ruby and Croaks fight, in the low percent category, you cannot really skip any phases, but what you want to do is actually minimize the length of a phase. So in the second phase, of the Ruby and Croaks fight, you want them to deal a 1 cycle attack. So, they're going to do like 1 windmill attack, 1 dishes attack, I guess, and you're going to switch, go straight to the slow machine. And the slow machine, because you don't really have a lot of damage, it's going to take you 2 cycles.
Yeah, like on this, like you can see Jason getting 2 attacks on the second phase, which is not the ideal thing. Like you said, you cannot skip the phases, but the idea fight is like 2 attacks on the first phase, 1 attack on the second phase, and 2 attacks on the third phase.
Unfortunately, definitely for Wolf, he tried to play a little bit more aggressive there on the Tigers. Usually, you want to stay really close to the boss to just have all of your projectiles hit the boss as soon as possible, so you can get that 122, 123 fight. Instead of actually playing it safe, he went a little bit ahead. It was a bit risky. Wolf is going full YOLO in every single race that he plays so far, but that's Wolf. He usually plays extremely aggressive. He got punished here, and the Ruby and Croaks fight, especially once you reach the slow phase, is quite punishing. So the other 3 rounds are moving to the groupie leg round fight. Goopy is probably the hardest boss to actually hit with pea shooter. It's not really easy to actually, keep track of him once he jumps around. So you have to jump with him, I guess, to align all the pea shooter shots so that you get maximum damage on him. So a really interesting strat that we see. Both Luigi and Beliso didn't opt to get the parries that Goopy gave you, but Jason did. Parrying gets you a little bit out of position for the Goopy fight, but because, as I said earlier, the EXs are really strong, Jason opts to go for the EXs. Usually that happens when you are not comfortable with P-Shooter, I would say, and you're not sure, whether the shots are going to connect or not.
I wasn't able to execute my pretty good strat for this fight.
It gets a really nice knockout. The P-Shooter EX has a really big, I guess, hitbox, and it's really easy to hit the boss with it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think for Cuphead, it's actually a little bit slower to go for those parries. I mean, if you go for the tree, I think it's a little bit slow because you miss a lot of damage, especially because that's one of the very few sections that he's not moving.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I don't like going for the three of them, but again, I'm not 100% sure if it's faster or not to go for the three of them, or if it's just like almost the same. Maybe you make up for the damage that you miss by throwing more EX at him.
Yeah, it definitely really comes down to how comfortable you feel that all of your shots are going to connect. Asahun for now is going to finish Goopy soon. He's a little bit behind because of that death of being Croaks. The other 3 rounds are fighting Hildaberg, which in pretty much every single category, Hildaberg is the same fight. It doesn't really change at all. The Legacy version, I guess, in the Legacy version you can do a specific glitch that is quite difficult to execute, but you don't really have that in your mind. You're not really going to get it all the time, so the fights are pretty much the same in every single category.
Yeah, but even to get the glitch, the setup, like the fight overall, it's like pretty similar. Like you take the 2 damage boost and then you throw the EX and then the 5 EX. It's a very similar fight. And like you said, like even if you don't get the glitch, because sometimes, I mean, it's hard to get it, even if you know what you're doing. If you don't get the glitch, it's pretty much the same fight on Legacy. So I guess it's the only fight that might not change. Or most of the flying sections don't change on there's Legacy.
I mean, the weapon swap with the bombs, I guess, change on Legacy compared to everything else. And you don't really necessarily do those parries in Legacy. You opt to not do that. How you doing, Kyle and Dylan? We hope you guys are well, as we are on the week 4 here in the weekly races. So far, Luigi has the lead. He's on Cagney. Jason's going to join in soon, as Felicia is going to join in as well. Luigi has a really interesting strat here on, had an interesting strat on Hildenberg, so he got a really insane fight. Moving on to Cagney now. Luigi is almost done with this fight. It's a really easy, not really easy, but it's a really fast fight if you know what you're doing. A lot of the times you're going to have to stick to that ground and use the lock mechanic to hit Cagney. And some people opt to parry the seed. That gives you some seeds that you see Jason here, parry that one. But some of those just don't like it because it kind of actually disrupts you a bit. So they tend to kill it. But Jason's going to opt to keep it alive so that it gives him a lot of EXs. Yeah, he's by far the hardest boss in Isle 1, at least. There are more difficult bosses, of course, later on. Jason now, on the last phase of Cagney, he's 1 HP from a really long time now, but he managed to pass the fight easily. He didn't really have a problem. You can see Valuso is having the safe approach on Cagney. He's playing a little bit safe, staying really far behind. Low percent is a surviving category in some sense. You can see people like, for example, Luigi and SPD Wolf who are familiar with the category. They're going to play a little bit more aggressive since they know the limits of P-Shooter. But For new runs, of course, they can just stay behind. That's like a really nice option that we should give you.
What Luigi does it actually works? Like throwing the EX down there?
Yes.
Huh.
Alright, so this the
Okay, that's a
interesting
new
thing.
thing to me.
Yeah, this is a really interesting thing like Luigi did. He threw the EXs down and he didn't really do it like on accident. There is actually a hidden hitbox for Beppy right down there that can only be hit but with a fish shooter EX. So you actually hit the last phase of Beppy by doing this.
Oh, and he keeps doing it, so it works like the whole time?
Yes, that hitbox is in during the whole fight.
Okay, that's 100% new for me. That's pretty interesting. And then, like this phase, it opens in the last phase. If you come here with just 1 HP, it can get pretty dangerous depending on what's the pattern that you get on the penguins. If you get like 4 penguins and like not a lot of distance to actually jump down, like what Luigi's getting right now, it can get pretty scary. So let's see. Like, you saw those baseballs. Were pretty scary, but Luigi dodged them without much trouble. And Jason got the green course as well. Both of them right now getting the good RNG so far.
Yeah, Dylan, this is not a four-way race. We have actually 5 people in this race, and the races are competing overall in the week. We're gonna have a race tomorrow as well, and we're gonna take the longest times of both of the races, and we're gonna compare them, I guess, and see who is faster. So it's not really an immediate race, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, like right now you can see on the screen, it's the arcade timer. That's just for show and to be able to see better the race. But what it's actually counted towards the leaderboards are the times. The times without loads, like just a any regular speed run for this game.
So moving on now to Jimmy, the grade for Luigi, and Jason is going to join him soon as Veliso and Wolf are on the last phase of Beppy. Veliso on 1 HP, let's see if he can able to catch. But going back to Jimmy, airplane fights, similar to all bosses in the current patch, it's all about the EX management. Usually the runners have the bomb upgrades, which now in 0% they don't have that, I guess, luxury, I guess you can say. It gives you like a little bit of extra DPS in some fights. So they're gonna have to be careful of when to pair specific attacks and such. He also manages to clutch that Beppy phase. The last phase is kind of tricky if you're on 1 HP, that is for sure.
Yeah, but I guess so far we have had only dead on Wolf's side, I guess, or I'm not sure if Wellison died at any boss so far. But Jason and Luigi are getting a super good race right now, and
yes, that is for sure. Luigi is on a really good pace. I'm pretty sure that he's close to his PB and the current world record as well.
Current world record just got like 1 hour ago.
He got about 1 hour ago, which is pretty ridiculous.
Just practicing for the race. Oh, casual world record.
Pretty much. Yeah, Luigi's low percent is actually one of his favorite categories. That is for sure. He told me many times that he prefers that one. Now, interesting thing that Wolf did, he used the big nuke on the pillars. If you do a lot of, if you hit the pillars, you actually deal damage to the boss. So hitting the nuke with both of the pillars having Jimmy's face, you actually deal a lot of damage.
Getting a little bit scary right there for Jason, but avoiding that like ray attack from the pyramid's pretty good. And clutching the fight with just 1 HP. And Luigi already fighting Baroness 111, but a little bit of a bad RNG right now with the Jawbreaker first. Now, I mean the front candy, it's okay. Let's see what's the third boss that he gets here. Okay, the gumball machine. It was not that bad, I think.
Yeah, Gumball Machine can be slightly slower, but it's the safer from all of the other ones. The Waffle is definitely the trolliest, that is for sure.
Yeah, usually if you get the Waffle, you wanna have already some EX attacks and just throw it at them to get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, the rules for this category, once again, let's repeat them, is to not pick any upgrades whatsoever. No weapons, no coins, no airplane upgrades with the bombs. just vanilla game, I guess. You start with whatever you have, and you clear the game with this. Clear the game by accepting the deal from the devil. This is like the fastest way to clear the game. And Luigi, despite the fact that he got butter in G, and in the last phase, he managed to get a really competitive time. Now, Barman's Bomb fight, as we said, is a boss that has a little bit of RNG. Some situations, like with the mini bosses, depending on what you get, really determines the final time that you get. All of the runs who are experienced, of course, with Fisher are not really going to have that big of an issue. It's like a second or two loss if you get the Jawbreaker, and potentially 2 seconds loss with the buff. Real Daniel, I'm not 100% sure what's happening with Velisso's loading times right now, but in the end, it's not really going to matter that much because the official times that we're going to be using in the tournament are without loads. So, despite the fact that he gets some big loading times right now, it's not really going to matter in the end.
Yep, that's right. And okay, Luigi's actually with a good advantage right now, killing Wally Warbles right there. Well, almost killing Wally Warbles right now on the last phase, getting a little bit of bad RNG, Wally going to the left. But it doesn't really matter because he has 3 HP, so it doesn't really matter.
You need to make sure that you have at least an HP to spare to tag a hit if you get the bar range in the last phase of Wally. This is the difference between low percent and the all bosses category. Because on the all bosses you have the bombs, you have the luxury to actually take a few hits, be more aggressive in the first phases. But actually Luigi did get the bar range, he actually didn't get hit as well. So he had a really clean fight.
Yeah, and Jason getting a good fight as well right now. He's gonna be opting to use the 5EX attack on this phase of the bird to get a little bit of an invincibility boost. Get rid of that phase right now, and he's got the good RNG, but again, it doesn't really matter because he anyway had all the HP. So right now he wants to kill him before he takes out his heart, and there's the heart out right there. It actually took a long time for that heart to come out. He was getting a little bit lucky.
Yeah, you cannot actually kill it in low percent before the heart comes out, I believe. I think it's impossible unless you have like a 4EX or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Luigi is on the dragon fight, and Veliso, I don't know what's wrong with Veliso exactly, but don't worry about it, guys. He will be back. The stream will be back. In the meantime, Luigi is on the dragon fight, and the dragon fight is kind of a tough one. In the current patch, it's always a tough one because you don't really have the weapon swap glitch to do the glitch, the dragon glitch in freezing in the second stage. So the fight is a bit longer, and the third phase can be quite problematic. That is for sure.
Yeah, I would think that maybe the dragon and Ruby Honey Bottoms would be the hardest bosses on this category. At least that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon and Rumo had bottoms, and I would say Beppy as well, but Beppy is less of a problem right now, I guess, with the newfound glitch that we found. The hidden hitbox. Yeah. So, despite the fact that Luigi has a big lead, he's like 40 seconds ahead, I would say, from Jason. And Wolf managed to actually caught up because he actually had some insane fights. I would say that he got a 105 in Barnes Bonbon, which is a ridiculous time. And he got a really insane Wally, really insane fights overall.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that unfortunate death on Wolf's side, I guess he would probably be like on first place right now, or very, very close to Luigi at least.
Yeah, that is for sure. Veliso restarted the game, so he's going to go back to the race. He had an unfortunate death, but that big of a problem. The timer stops there, so the official loading times are removed. The loading times are removed from the official timing. So in the race, I guess, with RTA and SRO rules, that won't really be a problem. As Jason gets an achievement, I don't know what he did there. So Luigi handball. Yeah, I was about to say that Luigi's on handball. What do you have to say about Rumble Hardons, Dino?
Rumor Honey Bottoms. This is one of my favorite bosses on how it looks like, the stage and all that. I really, really like it. But I hate her in terms of speedrunning terms. Not so much right now. I think it's more okay fight nowadays. But those platforms, just like the clouds in the Dragon Mastic, those platforms are completely random. And sometimes they just don't line up for good angles for you. And Luigi got the quick kill right there. That was pretty impressive to do in low percent. And that's pretty good that he got that because if Ruby goes to the third phase in low percent, it can get super tricky to get good angles to actually hit her. So pretty nice fight over there by Luigi. And let's see what Jason has to say about this fight. Like also what really mattered is that Luigi got like left or right on the first pattern and then the middle. So ideally you want to get the middle attack on either the first or the second attack for the second phase of Ruby, because she takes longer right there and well you do more damage. Like Jason didn't got that. Jason got 2 times the right side, so he's not gonna have as much time as Luigi to do damage. And we saw like Jason going crazy with the parries. Like even the screen like super froze like sometimes.
Yeah, it can happen. If you do that on the ball, that's for sure. You can do that on the balloon as well in Fun Fever. Fun fact.
We saw Jason here, as I was saying, he didn't got the quick kill, so he has to fight this last phase. And it can get pretty tricky, and especially with only 1 HP. Oh man. I kinda wish I didn't say that.
Yeah, it's a bit rough, especially if you don't have the platforms on your side. We opted to go to the side and use Picture instead of actually going up the platforms and use the lock mechanic to shoot diagonally. The B is a really difficult fight in Lopez, and that is by far, like, that is true. That is true. And you don't have the spread to skip phases and such.
We were talking about Ruby on Jason's screen. However, Luigi just got an insane cult robot right there.
Yeah, 1 minute fight without the bombs is definitely something that a lot of people will be jealous, even with bombs, I would say.
Yep. Like, Luigi, I mean, I don't know how far or how ahead he is right now, but I'm sure he's on an insane pace right now.
Yeah, it seems like he's on a really good pace. He lost a little bit of time in some bosses with the RNG that he got in Baroness Bonbon and World Wobbles, but I'm pretty sure he's on a really good pace. Then, a question that you had earlier, this is current patch. They're playing on current patch. In low percent though, it doesn't really matter whether you play on current patch or in Legacy. There are like a few hitboxes extra, I guess. And in the meantime, Jason got another death there on the B, in the last phase of the B. As I said, B is a problematic boss. Luigi is on Sally's stage play. Sally is a really weird fight, I guess I would say. It's not really that hard. If you want to play aggressive, especially in this phase, you are going to tank some hits. Probably Luigi's going to do that because that is like the fastest way not to lose contact with Sally, I guess. He's going to opt to take that damage boost from the big wave and use the Picture Reacts to hit that off-screen hitbox on Sally there. He gets a knockout really quick kill on Sally.
Yeah, right there, that strat for the quick kill, just lining up like 5 EXs at the same time, almost at the same time. And let's see, like, what's your option, guys? Is Jason gonna finish Ruby this time? I think he's on a way better shape now. He's got 3 HP, and yep, 3 HP, better platforms, and he's finally done with Ruby. Now he needs to catch up with Wolf. Wolf took the second place right there, taking advantage of Jason's multiple Ruby fights right there.
Yeah, I would say that those two deaths definitely put Jason a little bit behind. He's about a minute and 20 seconds behind Wolf, so he has to do quite a lot of work to catch up. There are some really difficult fights coming up in IL3 if you're on low percent, like Captain Briny Beard and Phantom Express. Even King Dice can be a bit problematic sometimes. because you cannot really kill some of the bosses fast. But these runs are really experienced, but you never know what is going to happen on a Cuphead race. That is for sure. As Luigi now is in the second phase of Vernon Vermin. Vernon Vermin is kind of an easy boss fight, I guess, if you want to play safe. But because you want to keep doing damage with P-Shooter, you have to do some aggressive maneuvers and use the EXs to gain some more time to their specific attacks. Jason on the last phase of Dr. Carl's robot, he's on 1 HP through the molehill that Dr. Carl is creating. It's kind of a difficult boss fight, especially the last phase. If you don't have bombs, you might want to play a little bit safe when you find those pillars. Jason's faced right now, but he's going to get the kill, I believe, right now, if I'm not mistaken. He has to do some dodging. It's a real fight, especially if you're about to clutch. So Wolf now on the Vernon Vermin fight, and I believe he got a really slow fight with the Vernon Vermin, the first phase of Vernon Vermin. You are supposed to get 2 cycle, he got a 3 cycle, which is really unfortunate. So he's gonna have a shorter second phase, that is for sure, which makes things better. But if you want to get a really competitive time, you want to get a 2 cycle. Captain Briny-Beard, Luigi's facing Captain Briny-Beard is one of the fights that RNG plays a big role, whether you're going to get a really competitive time or not. The combination of minions determine whether you're going to get a 3 cycle or a 4 cycle. Getting a 3 cycle is actually kind of difficult with P-Shooter, but it's quite possible with the right combination, of course.
Yeah, you gotta just be landing damage the whole time and having good patterns of Briny's versus attacks. But 58 again, it's pretty good time for low percent for using the P-Shooter only.
Yeah, sometimes you don't see 58 on people who use spread in the all bosses category, so 58 is definitely something good. So Jason now is on 1 HP on the third phase, so he's opting not to. He cannot really damage boost through the big wave, so he's gonna have to parry that star. Unfortunately, he's gonna play a little bit safer than on Sally. As Luigi is on Calamaria, Wolf is on Captain Briny-Beard, and Beliso slowly continues his race. He had some problems with the loading screens, but fortunately for him, the loading times would not, the loadless times, the official timing would not really be affected. We might just add a little bit of penalty because of the quitting. So Calamaria fight is another airplane fight, and I say another airplane fight because you pretty much do the same thing in every single airplane fight in the current patch. EX management, that is the most important thing. You see a parable thing, you pretty much are going to use it, so you're going to have the big nuke available. Sometimes people in this second phase that Luigi is on, they're opting to keep the bomb to actually dash that petrifying gaze. But Luigi opted to just play a little bit safe, lose a little bit of time by becoming the mini airplane and touch from above.
Yeah, but it's definitely the safer strat because he gets some invincibility frames also on this section right there. I'll use that 5EX nuke, like you said, a little bit for safety reasons more than just damage. I mean, and it's pretty okay. I mean, this is a race environment, so a race. We have said this, like one of the best strats is not dying.
Yeah, and speaking of not dying, Wolf had an unfortunate death. The last phase of Captain Briny-Beard, he opted to go for those aggressive parries on the laser. That cost him a little bit there. But it can happen if you're on 1 HP. But these runners usually go for the risky strats. Luigi now on the final express. 2 bosses left before Luigi is done. The 2 longer fights, I guess, in this category Phantom Express is about 1 minute and 30 seconds, I guess. And the King Dies, of course, is the longer one in this category, in pretty much every category now that I think about it.
Yeah, just the amount of time between the screens and waiting for the dice, waiting for where you land, and all that definitely makes King Dice the longer, like you said, I believe in every category. And I mean, also the train is usually super long.
Yeah, the phase transitions are definitely the ones that cause the train to be the long fight. I guess it can be as long as Hilda and Jimmy, comparatively. They're pretty much the same, I guess. Now, Jason is on Captain Rymir, Wolf on Calamaria, and Velis on the Dragon. Luigi so far is having a really great race. He's feeling really confident with, not using Bishop. We know that low percent is Luigi's favorite category, so he knows exactly what he's going to do in this one. Bearing that tail and using that picture on the edge of the card, as soon as he approaches, you repeat the same thing. He doesn't have any X right now, but he's going to end the fight. Nice 2-cycle kill there for Luigi. Jason trying to parry the laser off the boat. Really low HP. Let's see if he can catch it. Alright, he did it. As Wolf gets the knockout on Calamari as well. And Veliso does the same thing on Dragon. 3 knockouts there, 3 clutches in all 3 screens.
Luigi heading into the very, very last final boss in this category here, the King Dies. So the reason for everybody out there to know why the King Dies is the last boss on this category, it's because, it's called low percent, so the idea is to get to the credits with as few percent as possible. Like you can see the percentage on the file select screen, and this is the lower percent that you can get to the credits. Like only pea shooter, no coins, no run and guns, no upgrades, and not fighting the devil. So that's why we don't fight the devil in this category. I believe, as much as I like this category, I would love it a little bit more if you could actually fight the devil. But I guess, if it's low percent, it's low percent. Fighting the devil would actually add a little bit of percentage for that.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to stick with the traditional way of the low percent, like in speedrunning.
Yep.
But yeah, fighting the devil is definitely the ending that most of us would like to see. But yeah, we just stick with the traditional way.
Wolf fighting the twins right here, while Luigi's fighting the domino.
Yeah, Dominoes and the King Dice fight are pretty much the same in all bosses and in low percent. The only difference is the thing that Luigi is doing right now, the Dominoes, is going to be slightly longer because you don't have the spread. Usually in that situation, spread just destroys the domino, but it's going to be like 3 or 4 seconds longer, nothing much.
Yep. Wolf has to be a little bit careful here with only 1 HP. Fighting the engine, and he's got the knockout right now, and he's also moving on to the King Dies.
Yeah, despite the fact that he had 2 deaths, he's really close. He has some really great fights.
Yep. Yeah, it would need to happen something really, really bad on Luigi's side for him to not claim this race right now. Finding the 8-ball, the easiest mini-boss.
Yeah, in the King Dice fight you do 3 sets of bosses, from 1 to 3, 4 to 6, and then from 7 to 9. Number 8, the Magic 8-ball, is by far the fastest one from the last set, so they're gonna do that. As Jason takes a really early death on Phantom Express, it's not really that big of an issue. He's losing like 10 to 12 seconds, I guess, because it was like the first phase, and usually you don't really spend that much time there, so it's not really going to cost him that much.
Luigi got the start over.
Oh, Luigi okay, he had to start over.
So that's how catastrophes start. He's gotta be careful here not to land in another mini boss right now.
So that start over, for anyone who doesn't know, actually costs you about 30 to 32 seconds. So it's a big time loss. That's quite unfortunate for Luigi, as he had a really good race.
I mean, he's still on the lead, but yeah, like you say, like very, very unfortunate, and kind of surprised to see that. But I guess it can happen, especially when you're trying to rush into the dice. That's when that type of things can happen. If you don't wait a little bit to see what number you're actually gonna be getting and stuff, you might actually land accidentally on the start over field. But he's done with King Dice now, and he's gonna be moving on to sign the devil contract. Luigi's gonna go to the dark side right now. Rip Luigi.
Rip Luigi. He's gonna be the first one to give his soul to the devil. As Jason now finishes with the train phase, clean last phase there. Nicely done from Jason. Wolf is moving to the Magic 8 Ball as Felicio is fighting the Dr. Carl's robot. Yeah, Felicio lost in real time. He lost about like 6 minutes because of his problems that he had. But with time without loads, it's not really going to be that big of an issue. I believe he lost like a minute, so it's not really that big of an issue because of all those mistakes that happened. GG for Luigi. He finishes the race first. He's done. Here's the first one to finish in a really good time, 35:17 RTA. That means that he's probably in the low 33s, I would say, or really high 32 second, 32 minute, I would say, times. Really nice clean race for Luigi, other than the fact that he had that unfortunate start over. But yeah, Wolf is now gonna move on to the to fight the King Dice. Those two deaths for Wolf were definitely the unfortunate things. He had a really good fight. He had really good fights though, overall. He played a bit aggressive. That's Wolf. We all know Wolf is gonna play aggressive. So Jason's now gonna fight the Chips, and Willison's on the Sally, and we have with us soon Multi Luigi.
Hey, there you go. Can you hear us?
I guess my Discord broke up. How are you doing, guys?
Doing good. How about you?
I cannot hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know. My Discord messing up today really badly. I cannot hear you guys. Oh man.
Huh. We can hear
Great
you.
interview.
Great interview.
I guess I'm gonna just speak up to myself. I don't know. You know what? Be right back. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah, change output device. Be right back.
Alright, we're gonna have Luigi in just a second, guys. It seems that he was not able to listen to us. I mean, the one day that he can actually speak on the microphone, his Discord decides to add up. So Wolf also finishing the race right now. Let's see if Wolf wants to join here.
Luigi, Wolf had a really clean race as well. His final time, I believe, below us was 35:02, which is a really good one, considering the fact that he had 2 deaths. 35:02 is a pretty nice time. Hey, Luigi, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. I'm terrible sorry for that. I don't know what happened to my Discord. Don't update your Windows 10, guys. It's gonna broke everything.
Yeah, pretty
Man,
much.
that's run. What happened to the end? I cannot. I just laugh so hard on my stream, you don't even know. I just say to myself, the last thing I can screw up is the dice, Lawrence. I don't know what happened, but I get a late parry, so I parried over the dice, so I do a late parry because of that, and it hit just free to make it start over. And fun fact, that was a world record pace. I was 14 seconds ahead my PB, and that could be like 10 seconds ahead the world record, but well, I just screwed this up.
What a
At least
way
I
to
know
lose a
for the
run.
future I can make a better one.
But
So that's all good.
you were 40 seconds ahead, man. So that was like, there's tons of room for improvement for the world record right now. Then.
Yeah, I actually make a world record run today by 17 seconds, and on this run I was 14 seconds ahead. So it's like 7 over the half minute almost from the world record from SLB Wolf. So yeah,
I guess
this category can be pushed even harder.
Yeah, I guess you jinxed yourself before the race because you said no world record on stream today.
Yes, I guess the last thing you can screw up is gonna screw me up. But other than that, just not looking on the king dice, the run is insane, to be honest. I just do almost everything perfectly, and that's a good run, really a good one.
GG to Jason as well as he finishes the race. He gets a PB. This is like Jason's second run, so getting below 40 minutes is definitely something really good. I believe it's really close to high 37. He actually got 36.53, which is really great time for his second ever attempt in low percent. Yeah. Luigi, do you have to say about your race overall? Like, do you think you could improve somewhere?
Where I could improve is a little bit on Cagni Carnation, because it's the hard fight and it's hard to keep doing damage and dodging consistently. Also, I messed up Guppy Elegante, but actually he screwed me over because he moved to the wrong position on that had great face, so he messed up my strategy and I wasn't able to hit him consistently. So Guppy Elegante, definitely. But honestly, when I check out the splits, I don't think I did anything else really badly. I think every fight I get was at least good, but definitely good thing was Sumo Honey Bottom. I just killed her before the play and that was something.
That was
exactly
crazy.
the energy I got. The triangles and then into middle pattern. And with that pattern you can get this just right. And my mom calling me, what the fuck.
Maybe she wants to congratulate you for the race.
Yeah, so I think that's a good race. Thanks for that. And sorry, I just need to go. My mom's calling me. Be right back.
Yeah, GG to Luigi, GG to Wolf, and GG to Jason, as we have Jason, congratulations on your second completed run in low percent. How do you feel about it?
Thank you. I feel okay about it. I had a couple silly deaths. Rumor Honeybottom cost me at least 2 minutes. So that was a little rough. But other than that, I mean, this beats my other run by over 7 minutes, so I can't complain.
Yeah, like this is, I said it earlier, this is your second run, I believe, or third run, I guess, in low percent. And from what I understand, you haven't really experienced like pea shooter in a speedrun before, right? Because usually,
never.
Yeah, because I've seen you like, both Legacy with Lober and Runabout, and in current patch, even though we use a little bit of pea shooter, you opted to go with charge, like your own thing.
Yep.
So what are your first impressions with pea shooter? What do you think?
It's difficult. I mean, there's definitely a lot more dodging, and I mean, it takes some getting used to. So I think I could probably, like, if I clean up the deaths, get a low 34, but getting a time as good as Luigi and Wolf, that's it's pretty crazy. I'd have to put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, that is for sure. It's a really difficult category. The fights are longer, that's for sure, because you don't really have that big of amount of damage, especially if you don't connect all of your shots to the bosses.
Yeah.
But your run was actually pretty solid, despite those unfortunate deaths that you did mention. Your run was actually pretty solid. Like, a lot of your fights were pretty well done. Yeah, I think this race overall was pretty nice. We've had a few unfortunate deaths as well. Luigi had an unfortunate start over.
That happened. Also, I am back.
Yeah. So, yeah, things like that can happen. So, what can we expect from you guys in the future? What speedrun plans do you have for Cuphead?
Well, for me, I'm probably not playing low percentage again. I mean, maybe I'll play it one more time just to get a nice deathless run to submit, but I'm just not a big fan of this category. It's a cool category. I'm just not that good at it. I don't have a lot of practice, so I'll probably just continue grinding all flags, legacy, and 100% legacy, and then maybe go back into current patch and go for all flags, making that score better as well.
Yeah, seeing that whetstone action that we all like in the current patch. Yeah. That weird charm that is acts like, I guess. Veliso right now is fighting Captain Brightbeard. Veliso had a few unfortunate problems with his PCs, but I believe he's on a really decent pace if you take out the low times. and all the problems that he had. But overall, races I believe had a really clean run so far. Luigi, what can we expect from you in the future? Are you gonna come back to Cuphead and challenge?
Honestly, I didn't plan to. The only category I wanted to get back is low percent regular, which I just did today. So honestly, I'm not planning to play this game at least for now, because I don't want to go for another crazy categories like all bosses, regular, legacy, because it's gonna take a lot of time. And I would like to focus on other games. For example, when I started to play Darkest Dungeon, a bunch of people started to love it, and I just realized I don't need to stick to the one game. And I actually wanted to start a new project. I wanted to start playing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That's one of the games for Game Boy Advance. So yeah, that's a new plan, and I'm gonna try to execute it as soon as I can. And yeah, for Cuphead, that's gonna be good enough for now. I might be back to this game one day, but for now, I'm only sticking to it, doing the races.
Sounds good. Good luck to both of you in every speedrun plans that you have in the future. And it's a really huge pleasure speedrunning with you guys. And I really hope you join the future races as well.
Thanks. Oh, definitely not gonna give up others.
That is for sure. Beliso right now on Calamaria Fight. The race is not over yet. We're going to stick here with Beliso. And I believe Island Walk is also in the race. I'm not sure if Dino can pull Island Walk stream. We can see a little bit of his gameplay while the race is going on.
I can try, but you guys have to bear with me a moment while I set it up.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Both Beliso and Island Walk haven't. Low percent in general hasn't really received any attention because, I mean, a lot of people were more interested in either the all bosses categories or the completion categories. Both full clear, all flags recently has been added to the leaderboards, and we had like a few, like the expert ones, 200% as such. But low percent has been the one that has been popular because the races that we've been doing. Funny thing, like some of the times that are on the leaderboards were because we just arranged some races and we decided to do low percent for fun. And eventually Luigi got some really ridiculous times that were challenged a few times, either by Mr. Dino, Lindes in the past, myself, and right now Wolf is challenging Luigi in the low percent categories as well.
Yeah, good old times. I remember we played the low percent where you just come up and we had so much fun with it. And I remember when I got to time 34, I mean 34, and it was like, wow, this is such an insane time. You cannot push it more. I'm trying. Today it's pushed by 2 minutes more. So yeah,
exactly.
Times are changing.
Exactly. New strats, more aggressive plays, more familiar with the game overall.
Also, I have a great story. Can I say it during the race?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Before my parents go to the cinema, my mom left the meat on the fire. And I was thinking it's fine. I think she wanted to leave it, so the meat will be ready when she's gonna go back. But as it seems, I just got the call from my mom after 2 hours, and it seems like that was a mistake. And I really go to the kitchen really fast to turn this fire off, and luckily nothing happened. This meat was harder than we expected, and it's just fine. But yeah, it could end terribly wrong, and at least we're gonna have a nice dinner later.
Okay.
Great story. You can already put your LOL in the chat.
Okay, no, alright.
Also, I'm gonna go and watch this wrestling right now. I'm not a commentator and I'm not the best as the commentator, so I'm just gonna move on. I wish you good luck to the rest of the race. And yeah, see you next time, guys.
GG, Luigi, once again.
See you, Luigi.
See you, Luigi.
I'm gonna get going as well. Thanks, guys, for commentating.
Thank you, Jason.
It was a fun race.
I just cannot wait to rewatch the whole wrestling to watch the reactions.
Yeah, see you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
Beliso right now is on the final phase of the train. She's going to opt to stay in the middle and parry the tail, use the EX as such. Usual stuff. Usually you don't see this strat as being like the train being... you usually want to stay on the left side and parry the tail and use the EXs and knock with the P-Shooter the edge of the card, but you know, sometimes like people just like do stuff that are familiar with. Veliso is a legacy player, so he usually stays in the middle of it.
Okay, we have Island 25 now here.
Island Walk is...
To see the end of the race of the runners that we had today. And they're actually pretty tied up right now. They're heading into King Dice almost at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Island Walk and Veliso just finished the Phantom Express fight, and they're gonna be heading to fight the last boss of the run. And yeah, King Dice is definitely kind of a weird one, you know, percent if you're not familiar with current battle rules. But if you are familiar, it's pretty much the same thing. We said that earlier as well. Number 2 in the chips is going to be the same. Probably you're going to see the runs do one dash and then use the lock mechanic to hit the face of the poker chips, and then do the same thing once that attack happens. Stay a little bit closer, and once the chips rise, use an EX to get in that position and hit him with P-Shooter all the time. That is the key thing in low percent. You need to connect with P-Shooter all the time, as we said earlier. So after number 2, number 4, the Dominus fight is how both Island Walk and Veliso will react to that, as Veliso right now is chips fight.
I kind of miss seeing the cigar or the bunny in the hat sometimes.
Yeah, they used to be like the old strats, I guess. We thought that the cigar was easier to hit. Still is easier to hit, but it has a lot of HP.
Yep.
For a lot of runners right now, it is recommended, I guess, if you're not really familiar with if you're not familiar with, you know, the hitbox on the chips, and if you're not comfortable with hitting poker chips, to go for the cigar. And the same thing happens with the dominoes. It's kind of a difficult fight with dodging the spikes and such. So it is recommended, if you're not feeling comfortable with that specific fight, to go for the number 5, which is the rabbit. So I now Island Walk with 1 HP, moving on to the Magic 8 Ball. He's gonna have to be really careful. King Dice fight is really difficult, especially if you're low on HP. See how he will handle that, as Veliso is really healthy. He got some with a lot of hearts there. He gets the knockout and dominoes. Nicely done. Oops.
I guess we're gonna have to see just Veliso finishing this. That's right, we had a request not to restream Island. Sorry about that, Island Walk. I forgot.
My apologies about that.
It's okay, it's okay. So let's just see how Veliso finishes this race.
Yep.
We're gonna let you know, guys, what's the final Island Walk time as well anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah, Magic 8 Ball is not really that difficult for fight. You just stick to the Magic 8 Ball below. Once you get the brown chalk, you step away. The brown chalk is the only one that lands on your head, so it's not really that big of a problem. So you just stay below, shoot, and when you find the brown chalk, you just get out of the way. That's the way to deal with it. Right now, Veliso is gonna fight the King Dice himself. It's not really a difficult fight. It just takes a little bit of time with P-Shooter, since the damage value is not really that high for P-Shooter. You just have to rely on the EXs. Since he doesn't really have a lot of them, he used them on the Magic 8 Ball. It's going to take a little bit more time. Playing the cards there for Veliso. And he's opting to do the safe strat there, not taking a hit from the cards. He had 5 HP. If you want to go super fast, you just go ahead and tank some of the cards so that you can use multiple EXs there or just keep firing, I suppose, without putting any lag in the game. Because when you parry a card, you actually put lag in the game. It saves, like, if you're not parrying, you save a little bit of time. I believe like 0.2. As we have Iron Walk finishing the race with, I believe, a longest time of 51 minutes and 49 seconds. And Veloso right now finishes the race as well with, I believe, a really good time too. He's going to fight the devil. I believe he's fighting the devil, even though he doesn't have to. Veloso's going to fight the devil.
Well, he's doing a little bit of swag strats right here.
Yeah.
Like, he's now officially not ended the race.
I mean, he has finished the race, but I guess we can actually manually.
Yeah, I guess we can adjust the time, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't have to fight the devil, but I guess he's doing it because why not? He likes the good ending of the game. Yeah, don't worry about that, Dylan. It's
he's trying to show off that he can defeat the devil with the pea shooter.
Yeah, it's a difficult fight, especially with just pea shooter. Yeah, commenting any of these races is super fun, especially if I'm joining with Dino. It's always a pleasure doing commentary with you, dude. And it's always a pleasure, like, seeing a lot of people who love Cuphead join a stream to see some races. Races are really fun, even though in real time, Cuphead is not the fairest of all the games. It's a PC game in the end, right? We just enjoy the race, like the social aspect of the race, I guess.
Yep.
It's a really fun thing. It puts a lot of people into the from the community to one place. Oh, unfortunately, that for police on there.
He died at the devil. So yeah, for everybody that is new today watching these races, we have the races every Saturday and every Sunday. Saturdays at 11 a.m. EST, Sundays at 3 p.m. EST. This is week 4 out of 9. And after the 9 weeks, we're going to have like a tournament bracket, depending on who the top 8 is. And it's different category every week. So if you want to watch a lot of Cuphead action, definitely tune in, guys. Really, really, really recommend it.
Yeah, that is for sure. I don't know if we can actually show the leaderboards so far in the 3 weeks that I've done. I don't know how easy it is to do that, Mr. Dino. But yeah, there's a link for our leaderboards. I might as well just link it. And if you have it, you can link it on the channel. Mr. Dino, for everyone to see. 3 weeks I've done, as Mr. Dino said, it's the 4th week, 9 weeks are total. On Monday, I'm going to announce the next category. But maybe for next week, we're going to have to wait for Tuesday because we might have like a special surprise for next week.
Yep.
So there might be a delay on the announcement for the next category because that surprise is going to be really fun, let's just say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah, as Veloso gets the knockout here on the devil, it says, you know what, I don't care about low percent. I don't care about the bad ending. I just want good stuff. I want to see me saving Inkwell Island. So I go ahead and say, double GG to Veloso for finishing the race and actually giving a good ending to this one. This is the only person in this race giving a good ending for Cuphead.
It seems that legit he didn't know that he didn't need to fight the devil.
Yeah. I like good endings though in games, so I'm all for it. So yeah, that wraps up all the races, all 5 races. I believe did quite well. Both Veloso Island Walk were really new to low percent in general, and I know that Island Walk, for example, doesn't really have a lot of experience with the current patch. So grabbing the picture is like really difficult, and mastering against the picture. So finishing with a time of 52 minutes is actually pretty great for his first runners. I don't think he has done a lot of practice, so this is pretty great time. Luigi was on world record basic. He didn't get the world record, but he might get it in the future. You never know. But yeah, we're gonna have a race as well tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that the races for tomorrow are going to be Kirthar, Calavan Hera, Justin, and I'm going to be joining in that race as well. So
that's going to be a good race, guys. Make sure to tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah, both Calavan Hera and myself have done low percent, so we're going to try to approach that godlike time that both Luigi and SPD will put, but it's going to be a little bit difficult, that is for sure. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this race. We thought that low percent might be a really interesting category in the weekly races. It puts a little bit of some extra stuff for the runners to do. It's not like the traditional all bosses runs that we usually see all the time from everyone. Mixing it up a little bit. That's what we like to do here. So yeah, that is for me. Do you know if you have anything else to say?
No, that would be all for me as well. Guys, thanks a lot for joining, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And well, see you next time.